2014 Ford Raptor 6.2 liter. Cranks, but it won't start. The mess that I have been in on this truck for half the day today. Trying to figure out the story on this truck. Customer bought this truck from here and everything was running fine. Everything was fine. There was no issues with this truck. There was nothing going on with it. If you've got this fuse box in the front of your truck, this applies to you. Let me tell you a story on this truck. I get the RO. I was the luck of the draw. I'm thinking, okay, go out here just like any of my other popular videos. I'll check the 20 amp fuel pump fuse right here. Yeah, everything's fine. Power on both sides. The where the fuse goes in is not burned up. So okay, that's good. Close it up. I'll check the fuel pump driver module. I'll go back to the fuel pump driver module by the spare tire. Let's go inside here. I'll pull it. It's in the seat. Fuel pump driver module is not even plugged in all the way. So that's got to be it. It's got to be the fuel pump driver module. And it is nasty. Wasn't plugged in all the way, and I said, hell, I won't even charge the customer for this. It's gonna take me no time to diagnose this truck. I tell them, just go give me a fuel pump driver module at my cost, which is like nothing. GA8Z9 Delta 370 Alpha. Okay. Nah, that ain't gonna be a big deal. I'll just take care of that because it's like nothing for me, literally. Employee cost is nothing. So I go back here to the spare tire in the parking lot in the freezing rain. Replace the fuel pump driver module. Thought for sure that's gonna be it. Nope, that wasn't it either. Vehicle still won't crank and it still keeps giving me only one single code. Fuel pump primary circuit. The feed circuit. So I'm thinking to myself, I've got no brakes in between at all. I can literally ohm out from up there all the way back to the feed line going into the fuel pump driver module, and there's no issue. None. Zero. So if it's not the fuse, it's not the fuel pump driver module, I've already tested the wire from front to back. It's got to be a fuel pump. Still refresh the code, go check, make sure that I'm on the right track. Pull the tank down. The wire coming out of the module back to the fuel pump supplying power. No problem there at all. The fuel pump's got to be bad because I'm getting power to it. I've got ground. Fuel pump's bad. I pull the fuel pump out today, looking at the fuel pump. Sure enough, connection's not that great. The float's burned up a little bit. That's got to be it. It's got to be it. Put the fuel pump back up in the truck. Couple 13mm bolt strap, everything. Put the feed line back on it. Come back up here. Now when I key cycle, I'm getting a pump sound. Okay, pump is turning on. I can command it on through the computer. I'm getting fuel pressure and stuff. Now that's great. Then all of a sudden I see a message on the computer. The light here starts flashing. The lights up there are flashing. I didn't notice them before. And I hear a clicking over in the body control module. Over in the corner. Well, the body control module has an issue sometimes also where the connector gets broken and pushed off, and it'll cause some of these issues, but sometimes it won't crank. Sometimes it will crank and won't start. So I definitely check the body control module connector, which is that bottom connector over there. See if I can zoom in. The bottom connector down there on the very, very bottom corner. What ends up happening is people put their feet up against that plastic panel and they break that latching arm and it quits running. There ain't no problem there. So before I didn't have a fuel pump and I had a fuel pump primary code circuit in the computer, only one single code. Now that code's gone because now I actually got a pump that's turning on, everything's good, the connector's good. But I went into the PAT system. I said, I wonder if they let that battery run so low and they kept trying to do this and crank it and crank it and crank it and crank it over and over and over again, that's the reason why the lights are flashing now. It's got a parameter set for the security system going off. I go into the computer to reset the parameter on the PAT system, and it won't reset because it says I need 2 keys available to reset it. Well, that's telling me that there's only 1 key programmed to the truck. I don't have a second key, and for it to trigger 2 keys available and we only have 1 key, the customer only has 1 key, I got to go in there and get a key cut. Considering the customer just bought this truck from us about 30-45 days ago, we felt obligated to supply a second key, which the customer never asked for that when they bought it. And if we get these only with 1 key, we sell them with only 1 key, and we give the customer the option to split the cost, or sometimes we'll do it depending on the situation, whatever it may be. So I get another key, get it cut, get the security system set or cleared, all the lights stopped doing their flashing and stuff like that, get the battery charged up real good. Still nothing. But the 3 or 4 times I tried cranking the truck over, got RPM, got everything, I go back here to the exhaust. And I'm like, man, it smells like raw fuel. So I'm getting fuel. I can hear the pump kicking on. I'm getting fuel. So while I'm here, I said I'm just going to pull out my wand real quick. Where the hell is this thing at? I'll turn it on to, you know, about halfway or so. What, 8? And I'll test and I'll see what I got going on. So while I'm cranking, I take this and I put it over here on top of the ignition coil, and I was getting nothing. I was getting no beep, no nothing, no trigger for that orange light at all. So I said, look in the computer real quick. It's going to be part of my new procedure when I look in the computer to do this stuff. Pull this up. 14 6.2 liter. Be the same for the F150s of any engine size. And I see, wait a second. All these ignition coils are supplied by a 20 amp fuse in slot 78. Come back up here to the fuse box, which these don't ever pop. They never go bad. Fuse 78 is right here where this 20 amp fuse is. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4 over, fuse 78. 1, 2, 3, 4 over, fuse 78. There was no fuse there. It was wide open. Can you tell me why that happened? I'll tell you why that happened. The fuel pump probably was on its way out. With all the little burn contacts and stuff inside there, and it blew the 20 amp fuse right here for the fuel pump. This is fuse 27. When it blew that, they probably didn't know what to do, and they looked at their book wrong in the dash, and they're saying, oh, that's the fuel pump fuse right there, because I see a lot of stuff on that on the internet for that 20 amp fuse, so I'll just pull this 20 amp fuse over here and put it over there. That's why the fuse was good. And that's why there was no fuse over here, because they were trying to work on the truck themselves. So that fuse being good, the fuel pump being out, probably the driver module only 27 bucks as well, so it's good to change those out. And I almost want to say periodically, even though it's not a typical wear item, it really is on these trucks. Very bad design. Now the truck's running. Yeah, when the customers don't tell us the entire story, and sometimes we lose our ass completely. So one of the things I'm going to tell you from now on, and I'm going to make a second video on this truck, or on these fuse box systems like this. If you have an F150 between 2010 and 2014, 15, did they make these up mid-year 15 where the fuse box was up here? I don't think so. We're just going to call it 2010, maybe even 2008 to 2014 F150, where the fuse box is sitting up here, and you have a 20 amp fuse here, and then you have a 20 amp fuse down here. This is going to be your process from now on when it's a cranked no start. You're going to come here, check your 20 amp fuse, pull it out, make sure it's not blown, put it back. Come up here, check your 20 amp fuse, make sure it's not blown, put it back. close your lid. If you don't have a 20 amp fuse in that slot, chances are they put the TSB relocation kit in its new updated slot. I'll show you real quick what that TSB is. That TSB is right here. Battery junction box fuse 27, crank no start, loss of RPM and or malfunction indicator lamp. 2009 to 2014 F150 may exhibit a crank no start, stalling and or malfunction indicator lamp with a P0230, P025A, P0627, U0109, P0201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 207, and or 208. Cool. So let's look at what a P0208 is right here. Same thing, pops up for that TSB. You can actually get these kits online. Yeah, I think they have them on Amazon now. Here's the relocation kit number. EL3Z14293A fuse relocation kit, and they want you to move the fuse from, it's from slot 27 to, they take you from a little tiny fuse like this and they move you to a big fuse down here. I think it's in spot 70 or 71. They want you to cut the feed wire going to that, wire it into the new one, and then wire the other side of the new one into the other wire. So you're putting a spade in here, and you're wiring in from the spade into the housing, and now your supply for it is going to be here. And then do you reprogram? Relocation kit. Okay, so maybe you don't reprogram. I don't remember. It's been a while. Anyhow, so you're relocating that, but this doesn't have any burned up slots or anything at all. And if you just wanted to get back on the road and you just blew the fuse, you can pull that fuse out and put one of them little tiny itty bitty mini ones in there, and it'll be fine. Anyway, what we're gonna do, 20 amp, check that one. 20 amp, check this one. Close your box. You got no reason to have it open anymore. Then go to the passenger side, pull your plastic panel off of there, check, make sure all those BCM connectors are latched completely. If that fails and you don't have any diagnostic tools or anything, your last resort is going to be that fuel pump driver module. It's got two 10mm bolts on each side, and it is a mother sucker to get that latch mechanism off of there. So truck's running now. Somebody's been in there screwing around, and with the low battery and not having two keys and cranking it over, with there being codes in the computer, set the security system off, and this just turned into a freaking fiasco. But I wanted to share that with you guys. My nightmare will be your benefit, I guess. Well, I gotta get back to work. Y'all be blessed.